Hi, my name is Grace, and this is my story. So, I grew up in the church, but I would say my faith began when I was 8. We went through a really hard year with my family, but we had just started to say that God had gotten us through that hard time, and we were out on the side. And when I was 9, I got sick. We had just started to go to school in Jeff City, so all of the friends I had when I was little, the people that I grew up with, all my family were still at the lake, and I felt kind of alone, And then when I was diagnosed with mononuclear syndrome, which is, pretty normal, it's mono, and it lasts for about 2 weeks normally, and then you're fine afterwards. You don't feel great, but then you'll be great afterwards. But that didn't happen for me. I got mono, and after the first 2 weeks, I had to go back, and they told me to take my mom to take me to the hospital. So I was 9, so I didn't really get what the hospital meant, but we went there, and we had to sit in this room for what felt like forever. And they took my blood work. When it came back, they said I had gotten both strands of mono at the same time, and that it wasn't doing well with me. I was getting worse. I was going to get really bad pretty soon. It got so bad that I developed an immune disorder, and that ended up swelling my pancreas out, so that if I moved too fast, ran, or really did anything too quickly, it would burst and I would die. They told me I would have to spend a lot of time at home, but what they don't say is that you won't go to school, you won't go to church. I wasn't even allowed to go outside. I wasn't really allowed to move much. The whole dying thing would be kind of bad. So it got pretty bad. I would have to sit basically alone in a bedroom, a dark bedroom, for hours and hours. And I got really depressed. I felt so dark around me. And by the time I was the 3rd month in of being sick, I started feeling this voice and this feeling that's terrible around me. And all I could hear in my head was, it could be over really quickly if I just let it. And it got pretty bad. I started thinking all those thoughts at night when I was alone, when there was no one around, which was most of my day. And one night, when I thought I was going to end myself, my sister came in, and she saw me crying, and I was too weak to get up from the bed to move. And she told me that they had went to church that night, and that they had this really great message. And then afterwards, they gave her these little rubber bracelets, and they were black with white letters, and she gave me one. And it had a Bible verse on it. It had John 3:16 on it. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. And she told me that that means God sent his Son for the world, but for you. And that he didn't just send him back then, when it was hundreds of years ago. He sends him every day, now. And he's sending him here, right now, for me, to save me. And I didn't get better, but all of those thoughts, they went away. I stopped feeling so alone and so dark, because even when I was alone, I could feel that God was with me, right beside me the whole time. And he is still here. And still, someone once asked me, what can you look back on each year? What are those things that have gotten you through? Like your family or your dog or whatever. And I said, there aren't those things. Because all of these things, they can go away and disappear and break. But the one thing that has gotten me through all of these years and all of the bad is God. And he's been here. He turns a terrible story into a story for him. Into something that can show and prove that God is there no matter what.